Hey there, it's Nathan from the Oregon Brew Running Series down here at Baerlic Brewing on 11th and somewhere between Hawthorne and Division. I'm not sure what the cross street is. But I just had an awesome interview with Rik Hall, the co-founder, co-brewer, I guess everything man, here at Baerlic. We talked about how he got into the brewing industry, how they started Baerlic, how he and his partner Ben went from brewing in kitchens to brewing in garages and other stuff, and now they're here at Baerlic, named the best small brewery in Oregon, which is pretty cool. So check out the interview and then register for the event, which you can click on a link somewhere in the description. Maybe it's up there, maybe it's down there, and register with promo code Baerlic5 and save $5 off. And then join us right here at Baerlic on October 21st. Enjoy the interview, and we'll see you then. So I know that today's, what did they say, Monday, and I know that, I've done enough interviews with brewery owners, founders, brewers, etc., to know that there's no such thing as a typical day, right?
Oh, no.
So I don't want to know about a typical day. I want to know, what have you done today? And is that a relatively typical Monday, or has today been a good day, a bad day,
Today has been a day which I tried to fit brewing into everything else that I do on a Monday.
Okay.
And so far I've been able to do very little of all the other things that I do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What are all the other things that you do?
Paperwork, light bookkeeping.
Okay.
Getting the payroll ready for the accountant.
Oh, you do payroll?
Yeah. Well, I just enter the hours and the commission.
Gotcha. Okay. So this is really, you're involved in every aspect of this place.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, myself and my business partner, Ben.
Ben, right, yeah. Do you like that?
Do I like
doing everything? Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I like being able to do everything, but honestly, there's not enough hours in the day to do everything.
Yeah. So there should be no confusion as to which of the 100+ Oregon / Portland breweries we're at, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there
Awesome.
shouldn't be any confusion at all.
There shouldn't be. If you are confused by that, that's very, very unfortunate. You're not paying
we got
attention.
Oregon's best small brewery for 2016, so...
Exactly. What is the size? Like, when do you go from small to medium to large? Is that based on, I'm assuming, barrels?
Yeah,
output?
it's based
Okay.
on barrelage.
Okay.
Yeah, so probably we're thinking next year we might be, up against all the other medium-sized breweries for best medium-sized brewery.
Gotcha. Who won best medium-sized brewery?
That would be the Commons.
The Commons is medium. Okay.
Yeah.
We just did a run with them back in June.
Nice.
Interesting. Okay. How close are you in terms of size? Like, is it pretty quick jump?
They're quite a bit larger.
Oh, they are. Okay.
We were kind of at the cusp of the small brewery.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump into this, Rik.
Sure.
I'm excited to get to know you a little bit better. I'm excited to get to know Baerlic beer a little bit better.
Yeah.
I'm excited just to be in the best small brewery in Oregon. I've been here, several times before, but not since this was the best small brewery. A lot of us knew that was probably true, but now that it's official, that's got to be pretty exciting.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So I want to read something to you that was written about you guys shortly after you opened, and I won't say where it came from. I'm just curious your response. So, Baerlic Brewing has been behind the 8 ball since it opened. The sparsely decorated brewery, concrete floor, bare ceiling, industrial metal chairs, lots of blonde wood, no TV. Hasn't come close to meeting demand. I've been able to taste only 5 beers in 2 visits, the best of which was an ultra-hoppy primeval, is that how you say it? Primeval?
Yep.
Brown ale. The crowd was thinner the second time, too, perhaps because people are holding out for fresh batches of coffee and stout IPA. In the meantime, Baerlic might consider biting the bullet and putting some guest beers on tap. So here's what I'm curious about, Rik. How does that make you feel 3 years later, again, knowing that you are the best small brewery in Oregon?
I would say that it was pretty funny to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think at one point right after we opened, we got down to 3 beers on tap.
Oh, okay.
So I'm surprised that this person came in when we still had 5.
Right.
But we did start with a guest tap. And actually, honestly, we started with only 10 taps available, and we've since expanded to 12 taps.
Oh, okay.
So when we started brewing, we went ahead and started distributing our own beer as well.
Right. Which you still do? Or
yes.
Do you have a... Yes. Okay.
Yeah, we're still self-distributed. So instead of just keeping that beer to serve on tap, because we, within a couple months of opening, we kept on pushing the opening date up.
Gotcha.
Because we just weren't ready.
Right.
And so finally when we were...
Are you ever really ready?
No. Finally when we were ready, we had lessened the amount of beer that we actually had to serve people. Now, granted, this was our first brewery opening, first restaurant opening ever. So we had no idea how many people were going to be here.
Exactly.
And how much beer they were actually going to consume. So we thought we had a pretty good handle on it, but it turns out that
you're way off.
We were way off.
What a bad problem to have, that your beer is too good. You've created too cool of a culture and a setting that people want to hang out, and you can't make enough.
Yeah, it's just too bad.
Bummer, yeah. So let's, before we get too much into that, I'm wondering if you can take me all the way back. I've read enough of your story to know that you and Ben started in, was it his garage, your garage, a basement?
We started in a friend's kitchen.
A friend's kitchen, okay.
Yes.
Did you then move into a garage or a basement?
We then moved into a different friend's kitchen. Okay. And then we moved into Ben's kitchen.
Okay.
And then we moved into Ben's basement.
Okay.
/ garage / outside.
Gotcha. And that was roughly like 04, 05, somewhere in there?
Yeah, I want to say it was 05.
Okay, so
04, 05, yeah.
2010, you guys decided, let's do this. Right?
Yeah. I mean, no, it was actually, I think it was like 2012 we actually sat down and said, we're doing this.
Okay. So this is what I want to know. That moment of that critical life moment, a turning point of saying, we're doing this, how are we doing this? Like, what was that? Was it a euphoric, like, yeah, we're doing this? Or was it like, oh gosh, do we really want it? Like, what if you can remember, what were those emotions like? It was
mixed emotions.
Okay.
I wanted to become a brewer, but I had like a 5 to 10 year plan. And then upon
a little bit
but upon like further research, we decided that we had more of like a 2.5 year plan.
Oh, okay. Speed it up a little bit.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So instead of taking our time and learning everything we had to, we decided that we could learn everything that we needed to about starting a business, getting it started, learning about everything we could about all of the business aspects.
Sure. Is that because it's so easy to open a brewery that it's just like, we can just do this, take a weekend class and...
Opening a brewery is way different than running the business of a brewery. So I've heard that before. That's one of the things that I was very naive about. Very naive. And if I were to go back and tell myself to take a little bit more time, I would say learn more about the business aspects of it.
So is there anything that you know now that you wish you would have known then and has maybe been a hard lesson that everyone else can learn from who is thinking of opening a brewery? Yeah,
I would say if expect to spend a lot of money on accounting and
the exciting world of accounting.
Yeah, and legal stuff.
Gotcha. That wasn't something that you had budgeted for?
Or no, we budgeted a little bit for that stuff, but we under budgeted, and I think that we thought that we could handle and have time for taking care of a lot more of that.
Gotcha.
And we just don't.
Because who wants to spend time on that? You want to be making beer and hanging out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you've gotten too far away from the fun parts of why you started this? Because earlier you were saying you're doing payroll and all this other stuff.
Well, the thing is, I'm not far away from those things because I still do those things.
So let me say that adding more of the non-fun parts to this.
I do all the fun stuff, but I have to do all the other stuff as well.
Yeah. So I mean, someone's got to do it, right?
Someone's got to do it.
Yeah. Do you make hiring and firing decisions as well? Are you involved in that at that level?
Oh yeah. Okay. I'm the HR department as well.
That's fun.
It's a lot of fun.
There definitely is like an HR for Dummies book. I think I've seen it. Bookstore down at Powell's or something.
Write everything down. That's pretty much the key rule.
Documentation. Yeah. How did you even get an interest in brewing beer, back in the kitchen brewing days? Like,
even when I first moved to Portland, like I was into fermenting things, whether it's cider,
just rotting things away in the backyard. Sure. Composting, whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. I've always been a maker. So I've always, liked to do things. Okay. Cooking is like one of my biggest like pastimes. Oh. And, just coming up with fermented things
stuff is interesting and fun too. Yeah. Okay. So then from there you must have been a beer lover at that point.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Been a beer lover for a long time.
Okay.
Yep.
You're from Idaho, right? Growing up in Idaho, do you remember your first beer you ever had?
I don't remember I do remember my first beer because it was my dad's. It was like MGD or something like that.
Oh, some high top shelf. Okay.
Yeah. A friend of mine that he was actually my boss. He got me into craft beer by introducing me to the Old Chicago's like beers around the world or something like that.
That's fun.
And so from there, I just got into craft beers.
Okay. I'm always curious to know that leap from, I think as kids or teenagers, there's, let's just go drink beer.
Just go chug some beers.
Yeah, get drunk,
chug some
whatever. That was never really my thing, but there's, but then you evolve into appreciating all the different things that go into it. Do you remember that journey of just having a beer to really appreciating it and understanding it and saying, this is something I'd like to study and learn and make for others?
I back when I was fermenting just apple juice, I was curious about like where beer, what was the process of beer making?
Sure.
Cider, it's just apples and some sugar if you want to bring up the alcohol level.
Pretty
yeast.
Basic stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then wine got a little bit more intricate. You got to balance the acids and you have to make sure that you have all these other additions aside from just grape juice.
Sure.
So getting into the beer side, I approached it wanting to know everything about it.
Gotcha.
And where to start.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's a very educational approach to learning this. Did you go to a formal beer school or
no?
You're an all self-taught.
Yeah. Well, no, I am self-taught, but I've had a lot of people in the beer industry also help me learn these things.
Take you under their wing and
just asking questions or finding out what they do for certain parts of their process.
Sure.
So always learning something. Like now when I go in and we do a collaboration with someone, I'm asking them, like how do you treat your mash or what are your times like for certain processes? Just always wanting to learn more about it. And maybe not necessarily changing my own, but having that as something to think on for how I would approach it if it were my own thing.
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm assuming it helps you grow and evolve and continue to get better at what you're doing, whether that's for, a beer down the road or just tweaking a current beer that you're working on. So, and you used to be a bike mechanic. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's got to be a fun change of pace. Do you still do that, like on the side in all your spare time? Is that something like I wish I could just go back to fixing bikes or?
I miss it. I miss it a lot. Okay. I got to fix my own bike this winter. I'm still really good friends with the person that I used to work for. Okay. So went in there, used some bench time, and fixed my own stuff. And I miss it. I miss it a lot.
So is fixing a bike like riding a bike in the sense that you don't forget? It's pretty easy remembering how to tweak and turn and all right, that's something maybe I'll bring you my bike. I don't know. Mechanical thing is I'm just not. It's just something about like technology. This stuff is fine, but
I guess I guess I don't know. Now that I think about that, like I guess I've always been sort of a DIY kind of person.
Okay.
So I mean, I learned how to fix bikes by just
starting to fix bikes
and reading books about it. And then I went into a shop and, just started changing tubes and tires. And then all of a sudden I was like,
you're a bike mechanic,
adjusting gears and replacing parts and
that's cool.
Everything else.
It seems like the craft beer world is kind of in some very DIY in some sense. Like a lot of breweries in Portland, they're very similar, Genesis stories of just kind of interested in this and that and going into it and being curious and continuing to be curious and all of a sudden, hey, best small brewery in Oregon. You poured us some stuff here. I want to, before it gets too warm.
Yep.
So basically I asked you just pour 3 beers that kind of showcase what you guys do here.
Yeah.
So what do you got?
Okay. So first we're going to start out with the Eastside Oatmeal Pilsner.
Is this one here?
This is one that we've won best of craft beers here in the United States. We got silver for this in the Czech style Pilsner category.
Congratulations.
For 2 years in a row.
Yep.
So pretty proud of this.
Awesome. And this was what'd you say, Oatmeal Pils?
Yep, Oatmeal Pilsner.
Cheers.
So, cheers.
All right. Tell me about this.
So we kind of wanted to add a little bit more body to the Pilsner.
Good. Okay.
And then, so that's where the oats came in. So adding that body through the use of oats. And then heavily hopped with Sterling and Santiam hops.
Okay. Did I read somewhere that the Pilsner is your favorite style of beer? Or maybe it was at the time that I read that article.
Yeah, I know. It's always changing.
But whatever beer is in your hand, that's the favorite. That's the favorite beer, right?
It's always changing. I have been I drink this a lot more than any of the other beers.
Okay.
Mostly because I'm more proud of this beer than anything else.
Really? Why is that?
Just because we won those awards for it. And
sure.
I want to make sure that it continues to be a good beer, and if we can tweak it to change it to make it better, then that's what we're going to do.
Then you're going to make it better.
Yep.
Okay.
So I want to.
Well, this is great.
I want to make sure that in a blind tasting someday, I can pick mine out from anybody else's.
Day after day, I'm testing. It's research, right? Let's do the second one before I ask you the next question about Baerlic.
The second one, I poured this one because it's different in a couple ways.
Okay.
So this is the Bike Crush Saison. And the reason why I chose this one is because we were approached by the Oregon Environmental Council to make the lowest carbon beer possible, and this is it.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we
in the world, or just in Oregon,
for
for you guys.
Carbon beer that we could produce.
Okay.
So all the ingredients were sourced within. Most of them were sourced within 50 miles.
Wow.
We got the malt from a maltster about 227 miles away. So, but everything else was within 50 miles. So,
wow.
And then
that's impressive.
Crushed all the malt, or cracked all the malt.
By a bike.
A bike. Yeah.
I saw this. I saw this on Facebook. How long did that take?
It didn't take very long.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it was only 350 pounds of malt.
Gotcha.
And we could have easily gotten it over with in about an hour and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
But did you have regulars and customers help you with it? It was a little more of a community experience.
Yeah, we had people jump on, do 45 seconds to a minute.
Okay.
Crushing 8 to 10 pounds of malt at a time.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's try this one now.
So I mean,
it tastes very environmentally friendly.
You can taste the environment in there.
Exactly. No, this is great.
No, I mean, we do a wide variety of styles.
You do. Well, that's what I was just going to ask you. How do you describe Baerlic beer?
Yeah.
It's all over the place, right?
Yeah, I mean, we don't consider ourselves locked in any sort of style when it comes to the type of beer that we brew. We try to brew beer that's balanced, and it tastes great, and it's clean, and it's presentable, and most of the time, goes great with anything. Any kind of food, any type of event, any type of social situation.
Any situation. Well, yeah, exactly. So, on your webpage, basically just this idea that, it's about the people. It's about kind of augmenting someone's like the beer augmenting an experience, not being the experience. Talk a little bit more about, because I don't know that I've heard any other brewery articulate their mission in quite that way.
The idea is that a lot of times you don't sit there and really study a beer.
Right. I definitely don't.
A lot of times you use it as sort of literally a social lubricant.
Sure.
Like it helps loosen you up a little bit. It also brings up issues like, drinking alcohol.
Right. Well, how you do that responsibly.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. This is great.
And also, not using the beer as the focus, but using the experiences that you have around the beer.
Sure.
Making that the focus. So that's the whole idea.
Yeah. Well, it's, we did an event with you guys last year.
Yeah.
And part of the reason why we wanted to do it again was because of that. And that's really what we're doing too. It's just running as our thing instead of the beer. And part of the reason why we started this whole thing was because some of my best conversations in life have been either while running or while drinking a beer. I couldn't tell you what the run was or what the beer was.
A lot of times we have people tell us that, I've heard it more than once. It's just like, I went to your place, I had a taster flight, I had like all 12 beers, and not a single one of them, I had to finish every single one of them.
Because they were that good.
Yeah, they were that good. I mean, not patting myself on the back or anything. It's just the fact that, we spend the time to brew a beer, and we're not going to make a beer or serve a beer that we don't want to drink ourselves.
Sure.
So that makes me like weep with happiness
when people actually want to drink your beer. Yeah. That's a great compliment. I think of a testament to what you are doing here.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Do you have, other than the oatmeal, do you have a favorite that's up there right now that you? Well, maybe I'll ask it a different way. What would you recommend someone if they can only come in and have time for one beer? Is there one that, I know that you said you're most proud of the oatmeal.
Yeah.
Would that be the one that you'd say definitely try? This is the one you need to try? And
that'd be the one.
My questions. Okay.
Well, the first question would be, well, what kind of beer do you like?
Of course.
If and that's the thing. We have a beer for everybody.
Sure.
Well,
here let's play this game. So I'm coming in here. It's the first time at Baerlic.
Yeah.
So I tend to like not as bitter beers, and especially in the summer when it's warmer, I like something real easy to drink, light, maybe a little citrusy, something like that. What do you got for me, Rik?
So I've got two beers for you.
Okay.
In that case.
Okay.
Yeah. The Cavalier Classic Cream Ale. The Cavalier Beer is what we're calling it.
The Cavalier Beer.
Cavalier Beer.
Okay.
Yes.
Not the cream ale.
Not the cream ale.
Okay.
Cavalier Beer.
Okay.
It's got a lot of cascades, so there's a little bit of the citrus thing that you're looking for. I mean,
Lovely.
It's not really tart or anything.
Okay.
But it's really light in alcohol and flavor, and it's just really drinkable.
Which one is that?
Number one.
Oh, there it is. That's funny. I looked at everywhere except for number one. There it is, the Cavalier. Who does your? By the way, side note. Who does your board? I mean,
our taproom staff.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Is that something that you're like, I want it to look like this, or they just everyone is? We can't see it on here.
We give them free reign most of the time.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Does that match the label design as well, or is it just totally off?
Totally different.
It's very cool.
They would all look the same if it was matching the labels.
That's true.
Maybe just different colors.
That's a good point. Yeah. All right. So the Cavalier Cream Ale.
Yep. No, Cavalier Beer.
Sorry, Cavalier Beer. You got me confused there. All right.
Yeah, so did I.
And then what's the other one?
The other one would be it'd be the Test Flight Session IPA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. I see a coconut on there and a mango. Does that have anything to do with what's in there?
No, I think that is a mango.
Okay. Is that not a coconut?
That's pineapple.
Oh, that's what I meant. Pineapple.
Yeah, you just mix up your fruit.
Yeah, come on. I should know that. Yellow pineapple. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So pretty tropical. Not so much the citrusy. You do get a little bit on the back end. You get some citrus and pine out of it.
Okay.
But it's mostly tropical. But again, pretty light. And when it comes to IPAs, like even our New Noise, like our house IPA, does a pretty good job at blending the sweetness with the bitterness so that it doesn't come across too overpowering either way.
Okay. Just nice, smooth, blended.
Yeah.
Cool. What's the fancy umbrella drink? Guava Gosa.
Yeah. Pink guava gosa.
That sounds awesome too.
It's pretty tasty.
Is it pretty tart?
Yes, it is very tart. Yeah.
That's
not as tart as the gooseberry one we did earlier this year, but yeah, it's a fruit beer.
It's a fruit beer.
You know?
Well, it's a fancy umbrella drink beer.
It's a fancy umbrella drink.
I like that. What's this last one here?
So the last one is our newest. So for our 3-year anniversary, we decided to totally get rid of our house IPA, totally replace our IPA.
Okay.
So the New Noise is that beer.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, that's the out of focus label or whatever that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm squinting. Oh yeah, it's supposed to be like that.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like
that. Yes. Okay, I've seen that. Yeah. Okay. So this is the New Noise. So this is an anniversary beer, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Brewed for our 3rd anniversary to replace our 3-year-old IPA.
Gotcha.
And this is just one of those things that, you know, we always like to brew what we like to drink. And so this is an example of, you know, actually going to the extreme and cutting a beer off our list and just replacing it fully because we wanted to drink something else.
That takes a lot of guts to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
That tastes, it's creamy.
Yeah.
How do you describe beer? This is one thing that I struggle with. You know, it's like wine or anything. It's like I just don't think I have the vocabulary.
So you can do the creamy thing, but most of the time it's a mouthfeel thing, and so the mouthfeel is medium full.
Medium
to
full. Okay. Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
I'm like a complete newbie novice here.
Well, beer descriptions are way different than food descriptions.
Yeah.
Like pretty different than wine descriptions as well. So it's a whole different vocabulary.
It's a whole different, yeah. How do you define a great beer? Because something that I've always been curious about, or I've asked others, is it seems like at a certain level it's just very subjective. You know, like all these beer competitions, I see your medals up there. We talked about the oatmeal. It's very subjective. So how do you define, like, this is a great beer, this is not a great beer, this is a terrible beer on purely objective terms? I know there's standards and stuff, but
there are standards. There's a couple different judging parameters.
Okay, like a rubric or something.
Yeah, exactly. So one is called the BJCP. It's the one that's used most often, Beer Judge Certification Program.
Okay.
So there are very strict guidelines on what a beer should be in order to be called something.
Okay.
So, you know, if you're looking to fit your beer into a beer style, then you follow these examples, and they give you what it has to fall into in order to be considered that type of beer.
Okay.
That's one way to do it. Another way that you can tell a good beer is that it doesn't have any major flaws.
Okay.
So it depends upon the person. If the person is aware of these flaws, then they're able to judge whether a beer is good or bad. Now, to a regular person,
uninitiated, who doesn't know any of those, any of those deals,
they might pick up on some flavors that they're not quite sure about, but they don't know whether or not those are good or bad.
Gotcha. There's just different.
Yeah.
So ultimately, it's down to just a taste bud thing then for the normal, like I like it or I don't. Or interesting. You know, we're sitting around with or maybe not you, but when I'm sitting around with some buddies, you know, try to one-up each other and, you know, spout your beer knowledge. I'd be like, I just don't think this tastes good. You think it's the best beer you've ever had, but it just doesn't taste good. And so that's where some of that subjectivity, and it's almost like it doesn't matter, you know, if it doesn't taste good to you, it doesn't taste good to you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Which is another reason why I think this is such a hard industry to be in, because it is subjective. How much of what you guys do follow or maybe set the trends of what people are drinking and what people want to drink versus, you know, as the brewmaster, the artist, if you will, like, this is what I want to create, talking about creating beers that you like to drink. But I imagine if no one else wants to drink that, you're not going to keep making it, right?
Yeah.
It's still a business.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what it is. I mean, we still have to sell beer.
Sure.
So if we are producing a beer that's not moving, then we have to figure out what to do to replace it. And, that wasn't the case with the IPA. We just wanted to do something different.
Which as an anniversary, it's probably a little bit different than that.
Yeah. We just, you try to make something good, and you try your best to sell it. But if the public doesn't like the name, or doesn't like the style, or doesn't like your version of it, then they're not going to buy it.
It's done. How do you find that out, other than it's simply not selling either here or your distributors is at it, or do you walk around with clipboards and you're like, excuse me, what do you think of this Cavalier beer?
We typically will look at how much beer is left in the fridge after a certain period of time.
Okay.
And decide then whether or not it's being sold correctly through wholesale accounts, or if it's not being sold correctly here in our own tap room.
Gotcha. Maybe mislabeled.
And why that is.
Or the artistic label for it up there is not appealing, or...
No, I don't think that's ever the case.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't imagine. So what's next for you guys? I know that you're opening a second location, right?
Yep.
Which is going to be very different than this one.
Yes.
Talk about it a little bit. Is it a food pod kind of, is what I
Yeah,
thought
so
I read?
it's a 1,000 square foot building on, I believe, a 10,000 square foot lot. And so...
That's a lot of food carts.
It's a lot of food carts.
Yeah.
So we're leasing the building, and then the people that own the lot are going to manage a number of food carts on there.
Gotcha.
And then there's going to be outside seating, and then of course a lot of different food cart options.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And why are you expanding? Why are you doing that model?
Yeah.
Like talk about that a little bit.
In order to, the easiest way to sell our own beer is to sell it over a bar. So if we sell it to a wholesale account, then they're paying a wholesale price for the keg. Whereas if we sold it pint by pint, then we're making full retail on it.
Right. Okay. And where I know it's in, like the Rose Park.
Yeah.
Like where exactly is it?
It's at I think it's 60th and Halsey.
60th and Halsey.
I think it's 6035 Northeast Halsey.
Okay. I think I know. It's kind of by the park, the golf course.
Yeah.
Like up in that.
Yeah, it's like between the golf course and between that other park that's down there.
Yes. Okay. I know exactly. I run.
Oh, yeah.
Up by there quite a bit.
Yes,
all over. Yes, I ran to get here. In fact, no, just kidding. Well, very cool. I'm excited for that. It'll. You guys don't have food on site here, but
Nope.
But you have Blitz next door, and you have a number of places that deliver here for free.
Yep.
Was that something that you guys, to open quicker, decided, okay, we're not going to do food, but we're going to make food easily accessible for people, or what was that?
Honestly,
like?
we had to make the decision because the bank wouldn't give us funding for a restaurant.
Oh, okay.
Because you can't prove that restaurants make money. And that was, 3 years ago when banks didn't want to lend to anybody, money, period.
Okay.
And especially if you wanted to start a restaurant.
Interesting.
And so we nixed it. We said, okay, then we're not putting one in. Yeah.
So is this kind of an attempt to have food without having a restaurant?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you won't be the only alcohol provider there, or will you?
Yes.
You are exclusive. Oh,
exclusive.
okay.
Yeah.
So this really is a Baerlic restaurant with like
with no restaurant.
10 options. Yeah. Exactly. Or whatever it's going to be.
The largest menu.
Yeah.
The largest brew pub menu.
Do you want
ever.
Indian food or spaghetti? What's your flavor here? What's your taste? Yeah. That's cool. And when is that supposed to open?
We're hoping that'll be the end of August.
Oh, really? That's pretty quick here.
Yeah.
Okay. We're recording this in early July 2017, so we're talking like a month.
Oh man.
Are you doing? Did I read that you're doing work there yourselves?
Yeah. Just like this tap room.
Okay.
We did most of the work ourselves in this as well. So, we will be. Ben will be doing most of the construction over there, and then I'm gonna.
That's impressive.
Try to get out of here whenever I can to go help him with that.
This place is a very cool brewery. I love the blonde wood. I love the metal chairs, like despite what reviewer said. What was this before you guys took over?
This was actually Einstein Noah Bagel.
Bagels.
Before that, it was shoot, I can't remember which bagel place it was before that.
Oh, so it's been a bagel.
Yeah,
bagel-ry. What do you call it? Bagel shop.
Bagel
something.
commissary. Yeah.
Bagel hut.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations and good luck with that. That'll be a fun.
No, it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Cool. Well, my last question here for you, Rik, is the Oregon Brewery Running Series is all about getting active, having fun, and giving back. And we give back to the Oregon Brew Shed Alliance, Oregon Wild, and Portland Parks Foundation because, clean water is important. It makes good beer. The environment is important. And obviously the park system is fabulous in Portland, and we want to keep it that way.
Yeah.
So my question, I'm curious, what do you do to be active? I'm going to guess it's something to do with biking, unless you just like to fix them and not actually ride them. Do you have a go-to physical, outdoor thing to do when you're not?
Cycling would be my favorite thing, just because it's a great sport.
It is a lot of fun.
It's so great when it comes to energy expenditure.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Do you race, or do you just go out for centuries on your own and come back?
I used to race a little bit, but since opening this place, I haven't had time. I haven't had time to actually ride my bike all that much.
I imagine this takes up a few extra minutes.
Yeah, it does. But I still love cycling.
That's cool.
Yeah,
cycling's great. I had after college, I was living in Minnesota at the time. I was gonna bike from Minneapolis to Seattle with some buddies. We all bought these amazing Cannondale touring bikes in February our senior year, and then by June when we were supposed to leave, one guy got married, one guy got a job. It just kind of fell apart, but I still had this amazing bike.
Awesome.
Until it got stolen last year.
Oh, man.
So, and now that I have kids, I have a lame dad bike with a seat on the front. It's fun. My son and I love it, but so my cycling days don't involve too much actual cycling. It's mostly, driving around town with a 4-year-old on front, which is a different level of pleasure. But
totally.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're gonna be running here in October.
Yep.
I'm guessing it's too early to tell, but are there going to be any beers on tap? Because I know you rotate quite a bit in October that you know about that might be exciting for us to think about, to look forward to.
Yeah, there's probably going to be a couple of different fresh hop beers.
Oh, that's right. That's fresh hop season.
Our Pioneer fresh hop will be back, which is something we won gold for at the Oregon Craft Brew Awards.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So just all kinds of medals up there for being so young. It's impressive. It's very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
And then probably a couple of different other different beers. Like probably a fest beer or something.
Of course. Good Oktoberfest of some kind. Yeah.
Yep.
And you now allow minors, which is great.
Yeah. Yep.
Just not right there.
Just not at the bar.
Yeah. Everywhere else.
Yep.
Well, that's exciting. Well, Rik, thanks so much.
Awesome.
For chatting. I'm excited to drink more of your beer, to come hang out.
Yeah.
Down here at Baerlic more. Is there anything else that you want to tell people that you think is maybe the one thing that everyone has to know about Baerlic that we haven't already mentioned?
We didn't talk about the name.
Oh my goodness, we didn't.
What Baerlic means.
We didn't.
And,
okay, we're not done, people. Time out. Yes.
Baerlic means of barley.
I have it here in my notes.
I know. I read your notes.
Thank you.
It means of barley in Old English.
Okay.
Yes. So it's not our last names. It's not a conglomeration
it's not like
of our names.
Celebrity mashup name or anything like that. Okay.
It means of barley.
And what does that mean?
It's just something made of barley.
Made of barley.
Yeah.
Okay. Also on your website you have. So this is what I didn't read before. Maybe I will now. So all things, no matter how complex or involved, can always be traced backward to a single simple core or point of view. Our point of view comes from a belief that we're all in this together and that our actions shape our world. And I think that was around the section talking about your name. Is there a connection there between that of barley and kind of this idea of
it's
complexity traced to simplicity?
Yeah, it's very simply that. I mean, without barley, you
don't exist.
We wouldn't have beer.
That's true.
We'd have something similar to beer.
Well, that's quite true. Yeah. Interesting. I like it. The simplicity, even in the complexity of learning how to spell it.
Yeah.
Where does the E go now? But I imagine it's probably good for Google as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great for Google.
Search SEO term. There's not a lot of other Baerlic anything out there that I'm aware of.
No, when we were filing for the trademark for the name, I mean, just searching for that is just like you can find anything.
Yeah, totally.
I found one thing out there. I'm not even going to tell you what it is.
Okay, I don't want to know. Have you done anything with like other like derivations of the name, just to like if people spell it wrong, it'll still come back to you, or does it kind of automatically do that?
I think we actually do own BaerlicBrewing.com, spelled okay. like an actual bear.
Oh.
Yeah.
Baerlic.
Yeah.
Okay. Licking the frosty.
Licking the frost off the mug.
Frost off the mug. That's what it is. Yeah. Well, thank you for reminding me of what I had in my notes here, because somehow I had missed that. But well, cool. Well, Rik,
awesome.
Thanks again. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll go enjoy some more beer.
Cool.
All right. See you later.